I want Keisha to see what she missed," Marcus told his family at Thanksgiving dinner. His new girlfriend sat proudly beside him. A Rolls Royce pulled up outside. The door opened. Keisha stepped out in a designer dress, more beautiful than ever. Behind her, 3 children in matching outfits. 3 identical children, with Marcus's face. They walked into the dining room, holding their mother's hands. "Mommy, is this our daddy's family?" the little girl asked, looking at Marcus. His fork clattered to the plate. His girlfriend stood up. "You told me she couldn't have children." But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. She is going to look so pathetic when she walks through that door. Marcus Thompson sat in his office chair on the 15th floor of the real estate building in Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia. He smiled at his phone. The message from his mother Dorothy was right there on the screen. It said, "Keisha said yes. She will come to Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you for being so kind to her son." Marcus laughed. Kind? His mother thought he was being kind. She had no idea what he really planned. His co-worker Daniel walked past his desk. "What are you so happy about?" Marcus looked up. "Just excited for Thanksgiving. Big family dinner tomorrow." Daniel nodded. "That's nice, man. Have a good one." Marcus waited until Daniel walked away. Then he looked at his phone again. He scrolled through his contacts until he found Jennifer's name. He typed a message. "Pick you up at 2 tomorrow. Wear the burgundy dress. This is going to be perfect." 3 dots appeared. Jennifer was typing. Her message came through. "I cannot wait to see everyone's faces when we tell them. This is going to be the best day ever." Marcus put his phone down. He leaned back in his chair. Everything was going exactly how he wanted. 2 years ago, Marcus divorced his wife, Keisha. They were married for 5 years. During the divorce, Marcus told everyone the same story. He said Keisha could not have children. He said the doctors told her she could not get pregnant. He said he wanted to be a father more than anything in the world. He said leaving her broke his heart. But he had no choice. None of it was true. Marcus left Keisha because he met Jennifer. Jennifer was 25 years old. She had blonde hair and blue eyes. She worked at the same real estate office as Marcus. She laughed at all his jokes. She made him feel young and exciting. Keisha made him feel boring. Keisha worked long hours at a hair salon. She came home tired. She talked about saving money and being responsible. Jennifer talked about parties and trips and fun. So Marcus left. But he did not want people to think he was selfish. He did not want people to think he left his wife for a younger woman. So he lied. He said Keisha could not have children. The lie worked. His family felt sorry for him. His friends said they understood. Even Keisha's own friends started avoiding her because they believed the lie. Marcus never felt bad about it. He thought Keisha deserved it. She should have been more fun. She should have made him happier. Now, 2 years later, Marcus had a new plan. He was engaged to Jennifer. He bought her a ring 3 weeks ago, a diamond ring that cost $4,000. Tomorrow at Thanksgiving dinner, he would announce the engagement in front of his whole family. And Keisha would be sitting right there, watching. His mother Dorothy called him 2 weeks ago. She said, "Marcus, I ran into Keisha at the grocery store. She looks so thin and sad. She said she has no family in Atlanta anymore. Her mother moved to Florida. I feel so bad for her spending Thanksgiving alone." Marcus saw his opportunity. He said, "Mom, why don't we invite her to dinner? I have moved on. I am happy now. I don't mind if she comes. Maybe it will help her see that we can both move forward." Dorothy cried on the phone. She said Marcus was such a good man. She said he had such a big heart. She said Keisha was lucky to have known him. Marcus smiled when his mother said those things. Dorothy had no idea that Marcus wanted Keisha at dinner so he could watch her suffer. He imagined Keisha showing up in old clothes. He imagined her looking poor and defeated. He imagined announcing his engagement while Keisha sat there with nothing. No husband, no money, no future. It was going to be perfect. The next day, Marcus woke up at 9 in the morning. He took a long shower. He put on his best clothes, dark blue pants, a white button-down shirt, brown leather shoes. He looked at himself in the mirror. He looked good. He looked like a man who made all the right choices. He got in his white BMW and drove to Jennifer's apartment in Midtown. She lived on the 8th floor of a new building. Marcus parked in the visitor spot and went upstairs. Jennifer opened the door wearing the burgundy dress he told her to wear. She looked beautiful. "Ready?" Marcus asked. Jennifer held up her left hand. The diamond ring caught the light. "More than ready." They drove to Decatur. Marcus's parents lived on Claremont Road. It was a 20-minute drive from Midtown. Marcus drove with one hand on the steering wheel. Jennifer held his other hand. She talked the whole way. "Do you think your mom made her pecan pie? I love her pecan pie. And will your brother DeAndre be there? He is so funny. Oh, I hope your sister Tamara brings her kids. I love kids. We are going to have such beautiful kids, Marcus." Marcus nodded. He was not really listening. He kept thinking about Keisha. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 in the afternoon. Dinner started at 3. Keisha would arrive right at 3. He knew she would be on time. Keisha was always on time. They pulled up to his parents' house at 2:45. There were already 5 cars in the driveway. Marcus parked on the street. He and Jennifer walked up to the front door. Before Marcus could knock, his younger brother DeAndre opened it. "There he is, the big shot real estate man." DeAndre pulled Marcus into a hug. Then he looked at Jennifer. "And the beautiful Jennifer. Come in, come in." The house smelled like turkey and sweet potatoes and cornbread. Marcus's mother, Dorothy, rushed out of the kitchen. She wore an apron covered in flour. She hugged Marcus tight. "My baby is here." She turned to Jennifer. "And Jennifer, you look so pretty in that dress." "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson," Jennifer said. Marcus's father, William, sat in his chair in the living room. He stood up when Marcus walked in. They shook hands. William was a man of few words. He just nodded and said, "Good to see you, son." Marcus's sister, Tamara, was in the kitchen with Dorothy. She came out and hugged Marcus. "Hey, big brother." There were cousins in the living room watching football on the TV. There were aunts in the kitchen helping with the food. The dining room table was full. Turkey, ham, collard greens, sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top, mac and cheese, cornbread, green beans, and 3 pies: pecan, sweet potato, apple. Marcus and Jennifer sat down at the table. Dorothy kept bringing out more food. She was smiling and happy. She loved Thanksgiving. She loved having her whole family together. DeAndre sat across from Marcus. He leaned forward and said quietly, "Mom told me Keisha is coming. You good with that?" Marcus nodded. "Yeah, man, I am fine. I have moved on. I am happy now." He squeezed Jennifer's hand. DeAndre looked at Jennifer's ring. His eyes went wide. "Yo, is that—" Marcus put a finger to his lips. "Shh, I am announcing it today." DeAndre grinned. "Mom is going to lose her mind. She has been asking when you were going to propose for months." Marcus looked at his watch. 2:58. Almost time. Dorothy walked into the dining room. "Okay, everyone, let's sit down. Dinner is ready." Everyone found their seats. Marcus made sure he sat right across from the empty chair next to his mother. That was where Keisha would sit. He wanted to see her face clearly when he made his announcement. Dorothy looked at the empty chair. Keisha should be here any minute. She said 3 o'clock. Marcus smiled. "I am sure she will be here soon." Jennifer leaned close to Marcus and whispered, "When are we telling them?" "After Keisha gets here," Marcus whispered back. "I want everyone here for it." The room was loud with conversation and laughter. William said the blessing. Everyone said amen. People started passing plates. Marcus did not eat. He just watched the window. He checked his watch again. 2:59. Then, at exactly 3 o'clock, DeAndre looked out the window and said, "Yo, what the hell?" Everyone turned to look. A black Rolls Royce Cullinan pulled up outside the house. Marcus's smile disappeared from his face. Marcus felt his stomach drop. A Rolls Royce Cullinan. That car cost more than $300,000. Who did Keisha know that had a car like that? "Is that Keisha?" Tamara asked. She stood up from her chair and walked to the window. Dorothy wiped her hands on her apron. "Oh my, that is a fancy car." Everyone in the room moved toward the window. Marcus stayed in his seat. His hands gripped the edge of the table. Jennifer looked at him. "Marcus, is that her?" Marcus could not speak. He watched as a driver stepped out of the front seat. The driver wore a black suit and a black cap. He walked around the car slowly. Then he opened the back door. A woman stepped out. She wore a burgundy dress, the same color as Jennifer's dress. But this dress looked expensive. It fit perfectly. The fabric looked soft and rich. The woman had natural hair styled in perfect curls. Diamond earrings hung from her ears. Her makeup was perfect. Her skin glowed. "Oh Lord," Dorothy whispered. "Is that really Keisha?" It was Keisha, but she looked nothing like the sad, struggling woman Marcus imagined. She looked like she belonged in a magazine. She looked like money. She looked powerful. But then something happened that made everyone in the room go completely silent. 3 children stepped out of the car behind Keisha. 2 boys, 1 girl. They were small, maybe 4 years old. They wore matching navy blue outfits. The boys had on little suits with navy blue jackets and pants. The girl wore a navy blue dress with white shoes. "Are those kids?" DeAndre asked. Dorothy put her hand over her mouth. Marcus leaned forward in his chair. He squinted to see better. The children stood close to Keisha. The driver closed the car door. Keisha took the little girl's hand. She said something to the boys. They nodded. Then the children turned toward the house. That was when everyone saw their faces clearly. "Oh my God," Tamara said. Her voice was barely a whisper. The children had Marcus's face. Not similar. Not kind of like him. Exactly like him. The same wide brown eyes, the same nose, the same shape of the mouth, the same eyebrows. It was like looking at 3 tiny versions of Marcus. "Marcus," William said slowly. His voice was deep and serious. "Who are those children?" Marcus could not answer. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. His heart pounded in his chest. This was not possible. This could not be happening. The little girl looked up at the house. She was holding Keisha's hand. Her voice was clear and loud enough that everyone inside could hear through to the open window. "Mommy, is this our daddy's family?" Marcus's fork fell from his hand. It hit his plate with a loud crash. The sound made everyone jump. Jennifer turned to look at Marcus. Her face was confused. "Marcus, what is going on? Who are those kids?" Marcus could not look at her. He stared at the children outside. 2 boys, 1 girl, all 3 with his face. The math started happening in his head. 4 years old. That meant Keisha was pregnant right after the divorce. That meant... "No," Marcus whispered. "No, no, no." Dorothy's hands were shaking. She looked at Marcus. "Marcus Thompson, you tell me right now. Are those your children?" Marcus opened his mouth to say no, to say this was crazy, to say Keisha was lying. But nothing came out, because he could see it. Everyone could see it. Those children looked exactly like him. DeAndre started laughing. It was not a happy laugh. It was a shocked, disbelieving laugh. Bro, you said she couldn't have kids. You said the doctors told her she couldn't get pregnant. You said that's why you left." Tamara turned away from the window. She looked at Marcus with wide eyes. "Oh my God, Marcus! What did you do?" Jennifer stood up so fast that her chair fell backward. It crashed onto the floor. The loud bang made everyone jump again. She stared at Marcus. Her face was turning red. "You told me she couldn't have children? You told me the doctors said it was impossible. You told me she was the reason you couldn't be a father." Marcus finally looked at Jennifer. I didn't. Don't you dare lie to me right now." Jennifer pointed toward the window. "Those kids look exactly like you. Everyone in this room can see it." Outside, Keisha started walking toward the front door. The 3 children followed her. The boys walked on either side of Keisha. The little girl still held her mother's hand. Dorothy was crying now. Tears ran down her face. She looked at her son. "How could you? How could you lie about something like this?" William stood up from his chair. He was a quiet man. He never yelled, but his voice was hard and cold when he spoke. "You have exactly 5 seconds to tell us the truth, Marcus. Are those your children or not?" Marcus's whole body was shaking. He tried to stand up, but his legs felt weak. I don't... The doorbell rang. Everyone froze. The doorbell rang again. Dorothy wiped her eyes. She looked at Marcus one more time. The disappointment on her face was worse than any yelling. Then she turned and walked toward the front door. "Mom, wait!" Marcus said. His voice came out weak and desperate. Dorothy did not wait. She walked through the living room. Everyone followed her. They all wanted to see. They all wanted to know the truth. Marcus stayed at the dining table. Jennifer stood next to him. Her hands were in fists. "You need to tell me what is happening right now, Marcus. Right now." "I don't know," Marcus lied. But he did know. Deep down, he knew exactly what was happening. He just could not believe it. He thought Keisha would have told him. He thought she would have called. He thought... Then he remembered. She did call, many times. He blocked her number. She sent letters. He returned them. She came to the house once when he was here with Jennifer. He saw her through the window. She looked pregnant. He told her to go away. He said terrible things. He slammed the door. Oh, God. He slammed the door on his pregnant ex-wife. In the living room, Dorothy reached the front door. William stood behind her. DeAndre and Tamara stood next to him. The cousins and aunts crowded around, trying to see. Dorothy's hand touched the doorknob. She looked back at Marcus one more time. Her eyes asked the question without words. "Did you know about this?" Marcus could not answer. Dorothy opened the door. Keisha stood on the front porch. The 3 children stood with her. Up close, they looked even more like Marcus. The little girl had his exact smile. One of the boys had his ears. The other boy had his eyebrows. Dorothy looked down at the children. Then she looked at Keisha. Then she looked back at the children. Fresh tears fell down her face. "Hello, Mrs. Thompson," Keisha said. Her voice was calm and clear. "Hello, Mr. Thompson. Happy Thanksgiving." The 3 children looked up at all the adults. They stayed quiet. They could feel that something big was happening. Dorothy knelt down. Her knees cracked, but she did not care. She was eye level with the little girl now. The girl had the same brown eyes as Marcus, the same brown eyes as Dorothy herself. "Are these?" Dorothy's voice broke. She could not finish the question. Keisha nodded. Yes, these are your grandchildren, Mason, Miles, and Maya. They turned 4 years old last July. The room exploded with sound. Everyone started talking at once. Aunts gasped, cousins shouted questions, DeAndre said a curse word. Tamara started crying. But the loudest sound came from the dining room. Jennifer screamed. Everyone turned toward the dining room. Jennifer stood there with her hands covering her mouth. Her whole body was shaking. Marcus stood next to her. His face was white. He looked like he might be sick. Keisha walked into the house. She did not look nervous. She did not look scared. She walked in like she belonged there. The 3 children followed close behind her. They held hands with each other. The little girl named Maya stayed very close to her mother's leg. Please, come in, Dorothy said. Her voice was shaky from crying. Please. Keisha stepped into the living room. Mason and Miles looked around at all the people. There were so many faces staring at them. Maya hid behind Keisha's dress. William stood in the corner. He had not said anything yet. He just watched. His eyes moved from the children to Marcus. Back to the children. Back to Marcus. Dorothy could not stop looking at the triplets. She knelt down again. She was at their level now. She looked at Mason first. He had Marcus's exact eyebrows. Then she looked at Miles. He had Marcus's ears. Then she looked at Maya. She had Marcus's smile. May I touch you? Dorothy asked Maya softly. Maya looked up at her mother. Keisha nodded. It's okay, baby. This is your grandmother. Maya stepped forward. Dorothy reached out and touched the little girl's cheek. Her hand was trembling. You are so beautiful, Dorothy whispered. Then she started crying again. You are all so beautiful. Marcus finally moved. He walked slowly from the dining room into the living room. Everyone's eyes followed him. Jennifer stayed behind. She pressed herself against the wall like she wanted to disappear. This is impossible, Marcus said. His voice came out rough and strange. You can't just... We never... Keisha turned to look at him. Her face was calm. Too calm. We never what, Marcus? Finish your sentence. Marcus's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. Keisha looked around the room at all of Marcus's family. I found out I was pregnant 1 week after our divorce was finalized. 1 week. Marcus had already moved out of our apartment. He took all his things. He blocked my number on his phone. That's not, Marcus started to say. I called you 23 times, Keisha said. Her voice was still calm, but it got harder. 23 times, Marcus. I sent you 7 letters to your office. You returned every single one. They came back to me unopened. You're lying, Marcus said, but his voice was weak. Everyone could hear the lie in his words. Keisha pulled out her phone. She touched the screen a few times, then she turned it around so everyone could see. These are screenshots. See the dates? See your number? 23 blocked calls. Dorothy stood up. She took the phone from Keisha. She looked at the screen. Her face got harder and harder as she scrolled. William, come look at this. William walked over. He looked at the phone. He did not say anything. He just handed the phone back to Keisha and looked at his son. The disappointment on his face was clear. Keisha touched her phone again. These are pictures of the letters I sent. See? They all have "Return to Sender" stamped on them. You never even opened them. Tamara walked over and looked at the phone. She put her hand over her mouth. Marcus, oh my God! I didn't know, Marcus said. I didn't know she was pregnant. Yes, you did, Keisha said. Her calm voice finally broke a little. You knew. The room went quiet. The only sound was the football game still playing on the TV in the background. Someone turned it off. I decided that if you did not want to be a father, Keisha continued, then I would be both mother and father to my children. I worked 2 jobs while I was pregnant. I saved every dollar. When they were born, I took 2 weeks off work. Then I went back. I did this alone. William's voice was quiet, but everyone heard it. Why didn't you come to us, Keisha? Why didn't you tell us? We would have helped you. We would have been there for you and those babies. Keisha looked at William. Pain flashed across her face for the first time. I tried, Mr. Thompson. I tried. What do you mean you tried? Dorothy asked. Keisha took a deep breath. I came to this house when I was 5 months pregnant. It was a Saturday afternoon. I knocked on the door. Marcus answered. Marcus's face changed. He remembered. Everyone could see that he remembered. He saw my stomach, Keisha said. He looked right at it. I said, Marcus, I'm pregnant. These are your babies. Do you remember what you said to me? Marcus took a step back. He shook his head. You said, I don't want anything from you. Get rid of it. If you ever come back here, I'll call the cops. Keisha's voice cracked. Then you slammed the door in my face. I stood on this porch for 10 minutes crying. Then I left. I never came back. Not until today. Dorothy made a sound like she was choking. No, Marcus, tell me that's not true. Marcus looked at the floor. He could not look at his mother. He could not look at anyone. Is that true? William asked. His voice was loud now. Did you see her pregnant and tell her to leave? I thought. Marcus tried to speak. Answer the question! William's voice boomed through the house. He never yelled. Ever. The children jumped. Maya started to cry. Keisha picked up Maya. She held her close. It's okay, baby. It's okay. DeAndre walked toward Marcus. His hands were in fists. You saw her pregnant? You saw her standing there with your child in her stomach, and you told her to get rid of it. I didn't think it was mine, Marcus said quickly. I thought she was lying. I thought she was trying to trap me. Trap you? DeAndre's voice got louder. Trap you? You were married to her for 5 years. What trap? I was with Jennifer by then, Marcus said. I had moved on. I didn't want... You didn't want what? Tamara asked. You didn't want to be responsible? You didn't want people to know the truth? Jennifer finally spoke from the dining room. You were with me when she came here? Marcus turned to look at her. Jennifer, I can explain. You were with me, Jennifer said again. She was not asking. She was understanding. You told me she couldn't have kids. You told me the doctor said it was impossible. But she was already pregnant. She was pregnant with your babies. And you lied to me. You lied to everyone. Jennifer, please, Marcus said. Jennifer walked into the living room. She looked at Keisha. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know. Keisha nodded. I believe you. Jennifer looked down at the 3 children. Maya had stopped crying. She was watching Jennifer with big brown eyes. Jennifer's face crumpled. Then she looked at Marcus. Really looked at him, like she was seeing him for the first time. You are disgusting, Jennifer said. Her voice was quiet, but everyone heard every word. You made me believe she was the problem. You made me feel sorry for you. You made me think I was saving you from a bad situation. But you were the bad situation. You were always the problem. She reached down and pulled the engagement ring off her finger. The $4,000 diamond ring that Marcus bought 3 weeks ago. The ring he was going to announce to his family today. Jennifer threw it at Marcus. It hit his chest and bounced off. The ring fell to the floor and rolled under the couch. No one moved to pick up the ring. It sat under the couch like trash. Jennifer grabbed her purse from the dining room chair. She walked past Marcus without looking at him. Her heels clicked on the floor. Every step was loud in the silent house. "Jennifer, wait," Marcus said. He reached for her arm. Jennifer pulled away fast. "Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again." She walked to the front door. Keisha and the children stepped aside to let her pass. Jennifer stopped at the door. She turned around one more time. "I hope those kids never have to learn who their father really is, but I think it's too late for that." Then she walked out. The door slammed so hard that a picture frame fell off the wall. It hit the ground and the glass cracked. Marcus stared at the closed door. His perfect plan was destroyed. Everything was destroyed. He thought Jennifer would be his wife. He thought his family would celebrate with him today. He thought Keisha would sit at the table looking sad while everyone pitied her. Instead, Jennifer was gone. His family was looking at him with disgust. And Keisha was standing there successful and strong while he looked pathetic. William walked slowly to his chair and sat down. He looked older suddenly, tired. He stared at Marcus. "How could you abandon your own blood?" Marcus turned to his father. I didn't know they were—" "You knew," William said. His voice was flat. "Keisha just told us. She came here. She was pregnant. You saw her. You told her to leave. You knew." Marcus's hands were shaking. "I thought she was trying to trick me. I thought—" "You thought about yourself," William said. "That's all you ever think about. Yourself." Tamara was crying now. Tears ran down her face. She'd always looked up to Marcus when they were kids. He was her big brother, her hero. "How could you lie to all of us? How could you tell everyone she was the problem? I defended you, Marcus. When people asked about the divorce, I told them Keisha couldn't have babies. I told them you were heartbroken. I made her sound like she was broken." "Tamara, I'm sorry," Marcus said. "Don't apologize to me," Tamara said. "Apologize to her." She pointed at Keisha. Marcus looked at Keisha. She stood there holding Maya. The two boys stood on either side of her. Mason was holding Miles's hand. They all looked at Marcus, these three children, his children. They had his face, his eyes, his blood. "I'm sorry," Marcus said. His voice came out like a whisper. Keisha did not say anything. She just looked at him with tired eyes. DeAndre walked closer to Marcus. "You know what the worst part is? You didn't just hurt her. You hurt those kids. They grew up without a father because you were too selfish to take responsibility. They probably asked her every day where their daddy was. And what was she supposed to say? That their daddy didn't want them?" Marcus felt something break inside his chest. He looked at Maya. She was watching him with big, curious eyes. She did not know who he was. She did not know he was her father. She was 4 years old, and she had never met him. "I didn't think," Marcus started to say. "You didn't think about consequences," DeAndre said. "You didn't think about anyone but yourself. You wanted Jennifer, so you threw away your wife. You wanted people to think you were the victim, so you lied. You wanted to humiliate Keisha today, so you invited her here. Everything is always about what Marcus wants." Marcus could not argue. Everything DeAndre said was true. Maya tugged on Keisha's dress. "Mommy, I'm hungry." The tension in the room broke a little. Everyone looked at the little girl. Keisha's face softened immediately when she looked down at her daughter. "I know, baby. I'm sorry." Dorothy wiped her eyes. She had been standing frozen this whole time. Now she moved. "Please, sit down. Let the children eat. We have so much food. Please." Keisha hesitated. She looked at the dining room table full of food. "I don't want to intrude." "You are not intruding," Dorothy said firmly. "Those babies are hungry, and this is their family. This is their home too. Please sit down." Keisha nodded slowly. She walked into the dining room. The children followed her. Mason and Miles looked at all the food on the table. Their eyes went wide. Dorothy started making plates. She moved fast, putting turkey and ham and sweet potatoes on 3 small plates. William went to get extra chairs from the hallway. He brought them to the table and set them up next to Keisha. "Here, babies, sit down," Dorothy said. She pulled out the chairs. Mason sat in one. Miles sat in another. Maya climbed into the 3rd chair. It was a little too big for her, and her feet did not touch the ground. Dorothy put plates in front of each child. Maya pointed at the collard greens. "What is that?" Dorothy smiled through her tears. "Those are greens, baby. They're vegetables. They're good for you. Try them." Maya picked up her fork. She took a tiny bite. She made a face. Then she took another bite. "I like it." Dorothy laughed and cried at the same time. "Good girl." Keisha sat down next to her children. She helped Maya cut her turkey into smaller pieces. She told Miles to use his napkin. She reminded Mason to chew his food. The family slowly moved back to the table. William sat at the head. Dorothy sat next to Maya. DeAndre and Tamara sat across from the children. The cousins and aunts found their seats. Everyone was quiet. They all watched the 3 children eat. Marcus stood in the doorway between the living room and dining room. He did not sit down. He just watched. These were his children eating at his family's table, and he was a stranger to them. Dorothy looked at Keisha. Tell us everything. What happened after Marcus left? How did you manage?" Keisha took a deep breath. "After the divorce, I was working at a hair salon in College Park. I did hair 6 days a week, sometimes 7 if I needed the money. When I found out I was pregnant, I took a test at home 3 times because I could not believe it. Then I went to the doctor. That's when they told me it was triplets." "3 babies," Dorothy said softly. "You were going to have 3 babies alone." Keisha nodded. "I was terrified. I did not know how I would afford diapers for 1 baby, let alone 3. But I decided I would figure it out. I worked until I was 8 months pregnant. I saved every single dollar. When the babies were born, I took 2 weeks off. That's all I could afford. Then my mother came to stay with me and helped watch them while I went back to work." "You went back to work after 2 weeks?" Tamara asked. "With newborn triplets?" "I had to," Keisha said simply. "The bills did not stop. The rent did not stop. Formula and diapers were so expensive. I did what I had to do." William shook his head. "You should not have had to do it alone." Keisha looked down at her plate. "But I did, so I made a plan. During the day I did hair at the salon. At night, after the babies went to sleep, I started making natural hair products in my kitchen. Shampoos, conditioners, hair oils. I used recipes my grandmother taught me. I started selling them at the salon." "And people bought them?" Dorothy asked. "They loved them," Keisha said. A small smile appeared on her face. "Women kept coming back. They told their friends. I could not make the products fast enough. When the babies were 6 months old, I started selling at markets on the weekends. By the time they were 1 year old, I had saved enough money to open a small store in Southwest Atlanta." Marcus listened from the doorway. Keisha did all of this while raising 3 babies, alone. She built a business while he was going out with Jennifer and buying expensive watches and driving his BMW. Keisha pulled out her phone. She touched the screen a few times. Then she turned it so everyone could see. "This is my first store. Then I opened another one in Stone Mountain. Then one in Marietta. Now I have 3 stores, and we sell products online to all 50 states." Dorothy took the phone. She looked at the pictures. "Oh, Keisha. Oh, honey. You did all this?" Keisha nodded. "My company is called Keisha's Natural Crown. I have 35 employees now. We made over $2 million last year." The room went silent. Everyone stared at Keisha. $2 million. Keisha scrolled to another picture on her phone. "This is my house in Sandy Springs. I bought it last year." Dorothy looked at the picture. It was a beautiful 2-story house with a big front yard. "This is your house?" "Yes, ma'am," Keisha said. She scrolled again. "And this is an article Essence magazine wrote about me. They named me one of the top 30 black female entrepreneurs under 35. She handed the phone to William. He read the article carefully. Then he looked at Keisha with respect. "You built an empire." Keisha shook her head. "I built a life for my children. That's all I wanted. A good life for them." Tamara looked at Marcus with disgust on her face. "You thought she would come here struggling. You wanted everyone to pity her. You wanted to show off your new fiancé and your perfect life while she sat here with nothing." Marcus could not deny it. That was exactly what he wanted. "But she doesn't need you," Tamara continued. "She never needed you. She built everything without you. And now look at you. Jennifer is gone. Your lies are exposed. And you're standing there with nothing while Keisha has everything." Marcus stood there frozen. Tamara's words hit him like punches. Everything she said was true. He had nothing. Jennifer was gone. His family was disgusted with him. His perfect plan had exploded in his face. Mason finished eating his turkey. He put his fork down and looked around the table. His eyes moved from face to face. Then he looked at Keisha. "Mommy, which one is our daddy?" The entire room went silent again. Dorothy stopped moving. William put down his water glass. DeAndre and Tamara stared at Marcus. Everyone waited to see what would happen. Keisha looked at Marcus. She did not answer her son's question. She just looked at Marcus and waited. Marcus felt like he could not breathe. His legs felt weak. But he knew he had to move. He had to do something. He walked slowly from the doorway to the dining table. Every step felt heavy. Everyone watched him. He stopped next to the table, right next to where Mason, Miles, and Maya were sitting. He looked down at them, really looked at them for the first time. Mason had his eyebrows, the same thick eyebrows that Marcus saw in the mirror every morning. Miles had his ears, the same ears that stuck out a little bit when Marcus was a kid. Maya had his smile, the exact same smile, with the dimple on the left side. They were his children. There was no denying it. Everyone could see it. These 3 beautiful children were his. Marcus felt his throat get tight. His eyes started burning. Tears came without warning. He tried to stop them, but he could not. He knelt down next to the table so he was at the children's level. "I'm your daddy," Marcus whispered. His voice cracked. "I'm your daddy, and I made a terrible mistake." Mason stared at him. Miles looked confused. Maya tilted her head to the side. Miles spoke up. He was louder than his brother, more confident. "Why don't you live with us?" The question was simple, a child's question, but it cut through Marcus like a knife. Why didn't he live with them? Because he was selfish? Because he was a coward? Because he ran away? "Because I was stupid," Marcus said. The tears were falling faster now. "Because I was selfish. Because I hurt your mommy. And I hurt you." "How did you hurt us?" Mason asked. "We never met you before." "That's how I hurt you," Marcus said. "I should have been there. When you were born, I should have been there. When you learned to walk, I should have been there. When you said your first words, I should have been there, but I wasn't. And that's my fault." Maya looked at him with her big brown eyes. She was quiet, more careful than her brothers. "Are you going to hurt us again?" This question broke Marcus completely. He could not hold back anymore. He put his face in his hands and cried. His whole body shook. He cried for the 4 years he missed. He cried for Keisha, standing on his mother's porch, pregnant and alone. He cried for the lies he told. He cried for Jennifer walking out. He cried for everything. Dorothy stood up and put her hand on Marcus's shoulder. But she did not comfort him. She just stood there. Then she turned to Maya. Baby, your daddy made some very bad choices, but he's going to do better now. Right, Marcus? Marcus looked up. He wiped his face with his hands. He looked at Maya. I promise I'm going to do better. I'm going to be the daddy you deserve. Miles crossed his arms. You promise? For real? For real, Marcus said. Keisha watched all of this happen. Her face did not show much emotion. She was not happy. She was not sad. She just watched and waited. Dorothy sat back down next to Maya. She touched the little girl's hand. I'm your grandmother. Do you know what that means? Maya shook her head. It means I'm your daddy's mommy, Dorothy said. She smiled through her tears. And I've been waiting to meet you for so long. I just didn't know you existed. Why didn't you know? Mason asked. Dorothy looked at Marcus. Because your daddy didn't tell me. But now I know. And now I'm going to love you forever. Miles looked at William. Are you our grandfather? William nodded. His eyes were wet, too. Yes, I am. And I'm very happy to meet you. Maya pointed at DeAndre. Who is that? That's your Uncle DeAndre, Dorothy said. And that's your Aunt Tamara. The children looked around at all the new faces. So many people. So much family they never knew they had. Keisha finally spoke. Her voice was calm but firm. I need to make something very clear. I did not come here today to get back together with Marcus. That will never happen. I came here because my children deserve to know their father's family. They ask me every single day why they don't have a daddy. They ask me why they don't have grandparents like their friends at school. I came here for them, not for Marcus. We understand, Dorothy said quickly. We understand. Keisha looked at Marcus. He was still kneeling by the table. His eyes were red from crying. If you want to be part of their lives, there are rules. Marcus nodded immediately. Anything. I'll do anything. First rule, Keisha said. She held up one finger. You take a paternity test. I know they're yours. Everyone in this room knows they're yours. But I want it in writing. I want legal proof. Okay, Marcus said. Second rule. Keisha held up another finger. You pay child support, back pay for 4 years. That's 32 months of payments. Plus, you start paying current support. I have a lawyer who will calculate exactly how much. Marcus felt his stomach drop. 32 months of back pay would be tens of thousands of dollars. But he nodded. Okay. Third rule, Keisha continued, you go to counseling. You have issues, Marcus. You lie. You run away from problems. You care too much about what people think. You need to fix those things before you can be around my children regularly. I'll go to counseling, Marcus said. Fourth rule, Keisha said. You only see them when I say you can, and only if you prove you're serious. If you miss one visit, you're done. If you're late, you're done. If you disappoint them even once, you're done. Do you understand? Marcus swallowed hard. I understand. And one more thing, Keisha said. Her voice got harder. This is the most important one. You call every single person you lied to, every single person you told that I couldn't have children, your coworkers, your friends, your cousins, everyone. You tell them the truth, you tell them you lied. You clear my name. This was the worst one. This was the one that would destroy his reputation completely. Marcus thought about Kevin, his best friend, Daniel at work, his cousin Eric, all the people he told that Keisha was the problem. All the people who felt sorry for him. He would have to call every single one and admit he lied. His hands were shaking. He looked at Maya. She was eating pecan pie now. Dorothy had given her a big slice. She had pie on her face, and she was smiling. He looked at Mason and Miles. They were laughing at something DeAndre said. Marcus looked back at Keisha. I'll do it. I'll call everyone and tell them the truth. William spoke up. I'll make sure he does it. I'll sit right there while he makes every phone call. Dorothy added, and we want to be part of their lives too. Please, Keisha. I know I'm their grandmother by blood, but let me earn the right to be their grandmother by action. Let me babysit. Let me spoil them. Let me love them. Keisha looked at Dorothy. She saw real pain in the older woman's eyes. Real regret. They need grandparents. They need family. I didn't come here to punish you. I came here so they could meet you. Dorothy stood up and walked around the table. She pulled Keisha into a tight hug. Thank you. Thank you so much. I promise we'll never let them down. DeAndre stood up too. I want to be their uncle. I want to take them to the park, to ball games, to the zoo. All of it. Tamara wiped her eyes. Me too. I want to be their aunt. I want to braid Maya's hair and teach her things. Mason looked up. We can come back here? Dorothy knelt down next to him. Baby, you can come here whenever you want. This is your home now. This is your family. Miles asked, Can we come back next week? Yes, Dorothy said. She was crying and laughing at the same time. Yes, you can come back next week. You can come back every week. Keisha pulled out her phone again. She scrolled through more pictures. I want to show you something else. She turned the phone so the family could see. This is the Triplets' first birthday party. I did it by myself, just me and my mother. The picture showed 3 babies sitting in high chairs. There was cake everywhere. Keisha was in the picture too, smiling but looking exhausted. This is their 2nd birthday. Keisha scrolled to the next picture. At Chuck E. Cheese, my sister Angela came to this one. Their 3rd birthday. Another picture. At my house in Sandy Springs, I invited kids from their preschool. And this is their 4th birthday, Keisha said. Last July, I rented a bounce house and had a huge party in my backyard. Dorothy looked at each picture carefully. We missed all of this. We missed watching them grow up. Yes, Keisha said simply. You did. William put his hand on Dorothy's shoulder. She was crying again, looking at the pictures. We can't get those years back, he said quietly. But we can be here for the years ahead. Keisha put her phone away. She looked around the table at Marcus's family. These people knew nothing about her children until 1 hour ago. Now they wanted to be part of their lives. Part of her wanted to say no. Part of her wanted to protect her children from more disappointment. But another part of her knew the truth. Children needed family. They needed more people to love them. I need all of you to understand something, Keisha said. Everyone stopped talking and looked at her. These children are my whole world. I built my business for them. I work hard for them. Everything I do is for them. If any of you hurt them, if any of you disappoint them, I will remove you from their lives immediately. I don't care if you're their grandmother, their uncle, or their father. Do you understand? We understand, Dorothy said quickly. I'm serious, Keisha continued. Marcus already abandoned them once. He doesn't get to do it again. None of you get to walk in and out of their lives when it's convenient. You're either in or you're out. There's no middle ground. William nodded. We're in. We're all in. Maya was getting tired. She'd been up since 6 in the morning. She rubbed her eyes with her small fists. Dorothy noticed. Is she sleepy? Yes, Keisha said. They usually take a nap in the afternoon, but today has been too much excitement. Come here, baby, Dorothy said softly. She held out her arms to Maya. Maya looked at her mother. Keisha nodded. "It's okay. That's your grandmother." Maya climbed down from her chair. She walked over to Dorothy. Dorothy picked her up and sat her on her lap. Maya rested her head against Dorothy's chest. Within 2 minutes, she was asleep. Dorothy looked down at the little girl in her arms. Fresh tears fell down her face. "She's so beautiful. They're all so beautiful." Mason and Miles were still awake. They had more energy than their sister. DeAndre stood up from the table. "Hey, you guys want to see the backyard? I bet there's a football out there." Both boys' eyes lit up. "Can we, Mommy?" Mason asked. Keisha nodded. "Yes, but stay where I can see you." DeAndre took the boys outside through the back door. Marcus watched them go. His brother was already being an uncle, playing with his children, building a relationship with them. Marcus had missed 4 years. DeAndre was doing in 5 minutes what Marcus should have been doing all along. Tamara stood up and started clearing the table. She picked up empty plates and cups. Keisha started to help, but Tamara stopped her. "No, you sit. You're a guest." "I can help," Keisha said. "Please," Tamara said. "Let us do something for you. Let us serve you for once. You've been doing everything alone for too long." Keisha sat back down. She watched Tamara and one of the aunts carry dishes to the kitchen. William sat across from her. Marcus stood by the window, watching DeAndre play with the boys in the backyard. "Tell me about your business," William said to Keisha. "I want to know how you built it." Keisha smiled a little. "It started in my kitchen. I was making products at night after the babies went to sleep. My grandmother taught me how to make natural hair oils when I was young. She used coconut oil, castor oil, and different herbs. I remembered her recipes." "And you sold them at the salon where you worked?" William asked. "Yes, sir," Keisha said. "At first, I just made enough for myself. But other stylists saw how healthy my hair was. They asked what I was using, so I started making extra bottles to sell. Women loved them. They said their hair grew faster, felt softer, looked healthier." William leaned forward. He was genuinely interested. "When did you decide to open your own store?" "When the babies were 1 year old," Keisha said. "I had saved $8,000. I found a small space in Southwest Atlanta. The rent was only $700 a month. I used the rest of the money to buy inventory and shelves. I opened on a Saturday. I thought maybe 10 people would come. Over 100 people showed up." "100?" William said. Keisha nodded. Word had spread. Women told their friends told their friends. By the end of the first day, I had sold almost everything. I went home and cried because I couldn't believe it worked. Dorothy was listening while holding the sleeping Maya. "And now you have 3 stores?" "3 physical stores," Keisha said. "Plus the website. We ship products all over the country. Last month we shipped orders to Alaska and Hawaii." William shook his head in amazement. "You did all this while raising triplets alone." "My mother helped," Keisha said, "and my sister, Angela. When the business started growing, Angela quit her job and came to work for me. She runs the online store now. My mother still babysits 2 days a week, so I can work." "What about the father of your—" William stopped. He looked at Marcus standing by the window. "I'm sorry. That was a stupid question." "It's okay," Keisha said. "No, Marcus was never there. Not once. Every doctor's appointment I went alone. Every time the babies were sick, I handled it alone. Every milestone, every first word, every first step. I was alone for all of it." Marcus heard every word. He kept his back turned, but his shoulders tensed. He was hearing exactly what he missed. Exactly what he threw away. "Where do you live now?" William asked. "Sandy Springs," Keisha said. "I bought a house last year. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, big backyard, good schools nearby. It's everything I wanted for my children." "And you paid for it yourself?" William asked. "Every penny," Keisha said. "Nobody gave me anything. Nobody helped me. I did it myself." There was pride in her voice. Not arrogant pride, earned pride. The pride of someone who survived something hard and came out stronger. Dorothy shifted Maya in her arms. The little girl was still fast asleep. "Keisha, I need to ask you something, and please be honest with me." "Okay," Keisha said. "Do you hate us?" Dorothy asked. Her voice was small. "Do you hate our family for what Marcus did?" Keisha thought about this for a moment. "No, I don't hate you. I was angry for a long time. When I was pregnant and scared and alone, I was angry. When I had to take the bus to the hospital to give birth because I couldn't afford a cab, I was angry. When I watched other children with their fathers at the park and my babies had no one, I was angry." "I'm so sorry," Dorothy whispered. "But I'm not angry anymore," Keisha continued. "Anger takes too much energy, and my children need my energy, so I decided to let it go. I decided to focus on building a good life for them. And I did. We have a good life. A really good life." "Then why did you come here today?" William asked gently. "If you already have a good life, why bring them here?" Keisha looked at Maya sleeping in Dorothy's arms. Then she looked out the window at Mason and Miles playing with DeAndre. "Because Mason asked me a question 2 weeks ago. He said, 'Mommy, why don't I have a grandma like the kids at school?' And I didn't have a good answer. I couldn't tell him that his grandmother lived 15 miles away and didn't know he existed, so I decided it was time. Time to tell the truth. Time to give them what they deserve." "A family," Dorothy said. "Yes," Keisha said. "A family." Marcus finally turned around from the window. His eyes were red. His face looked tired. "What do I need to do? To see them? To be their father?" Keisha pulled a piece of paper from her purse. She unfolded it and put it on the table. "I already told you the rules, but I wrote them down so there's no confusion." Marcus walked over and picked up the paper. He read it slowly. Rule 1. Paternity test within 1 week. Rule 2. Child support payments. Back pay of $800 per month for 32 months equals $25,600. Current support of $2,000 per month going forward. Rule 3. Weekly therapy sessions for minimum of 6 months. Rule 4. Supervised visitation every other Saturday from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Visits will be at Dorothy and William Thompson's house for the first 3 months. After 3 months, unsupervised visits may be allowed if Marcus has been consistent. Rule 5. Marcus must contact every person he told lies to about Keisha. He must tell them the truth. He must clear Keisha's name. Marcus read the list 3 times. $25,600. That was almost all of his savings. $2,000 a month meant he would have to change his lifestyle completely. No more expensive dinners. No more new clothes every month. No more luxury car payment. But when he looked up and saw Miles laughing in the backyard, he knew none of that mattered. "I'll do it," Marcus said. "All of it. I'll do whatever it takes." William stood up. "I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to be there for every phone call, every therapy session, every visit. If you mess this up, you answer to me." Marcus nodded. "Yes, sir." Keisha stood up. "It's time for us to go. The children need to get home and rest." "Already?" Dorothy looked sad. She was still holding Maya. "Can't you stay a little longer?" "They've had a big day," Keisha said. "Too much excitement. They need their routine." Dorothy gently woke up Maya. "Baby, you have to go home now." Maya's eyes opened slowly. She looked confused for a second. Then she remembered where she was. "Can I come back?" Dorothy's voice cracked. "Yes, baby, you can come back, I promise." Keisha called out the back door. "Mason, Miles, time to go." The boys ran inside. Their faces were sweaty from playing. DeAndre followed them. "These boys are fast. I couldn't keep up with them." Miles looked up at DeAndre. "Will you play with us again?" "Absolutely," DeAndre said. He high-fived both boys. "Next time I'll teach you some tricks." Keisha gathered her children and walked toward the front door. The whole family followed. Marcus stood at the back of the group. He did not know what to say or do. Dorothy wrote her phone number on a piece of paper. She handed it to Keisha. "Call me anytime, day or night. If you need anything, if the children need anything, I'm here. Please don't hesitate." Keisha took the paper. "Thank you." The driver was already outside, waiting next to the Rolls Royce. He opened the back door. The children climbed in. Keisha turned back one more time. "Marcus, I'll have my lawyer send you the paperwork for the paternity test. You have 1 week." "I'll be there," Marcus said. Keisha got in the car. The driver closed the door. The engine started. The black Rolls Royce pulled away from the house slowly. Everyone stood on the porch watching it leave. Dorothy was crying. William had his arm around her. DeAndre and Tamara stood together in silence. Marcus watched until the car turned the corner and disappeared. Then he walked back inside and sat on his parents' front steps. His head fell into his hands. He had come here today planning to humiliate Keisha. Instead, he humiliated himself. He lost Jennifer. He lost his family's respect. He lost everything. But maybe, if he did exactly what Keisha asked, maybe he could gain something more important. Maybe he could be a father. William sat down next to Marcus on the steps. Neither of them said anything for a long time. They just sat there in the cold November air. Other families were inside eating pie and watching football. But the Thompson family was outside dealing with the truth. "You're going to fix this," William said finally. It was not a question. It was a statement. "I'm going to try," Marcus said. "No," William said firmly. "You're going to do it. Trying is not enough. Those children don't need you to try. They need you to show up." Marcus nodded. He felt empty inside, like everything had been scooped out of him. The weekend passed slowly. Marcus stayed in his apartment in Buckhead. He did not leave. He did not answer his phone. Jennifer called twice. He let it go to voicemail. She left messages saying she wanted her things from his apartment. She said her brother would come pick them up. She never said his name. She just said "you," like the word tasted bad. On Monday morning, Marcus woke up at 6. He could not sleep. His mind kept showing him images from Thanksgiving, Maya asking if he would hurt them again, Miles asking why he did not live with them, Mason looking at him with Marcus's own eyes. At 7:30, his phone rang. It was a number he did not recognize. He almost did not answer, but something made him pick up. "Hello? Mr. Thompson, this is Barbara Chen. I'm Keisha Williams's attorney." Marcus sat up in bed. "Yes, hello. I'm calling about the paternity test. I've scheduled an appointment for you today at 10 o'clock at the DNA testing center on Peachtree Road in Buckhead. Do you know where that is?" "Yes," Marcus said. "Miss Williams and the children will be there at 10. Please don't be late. If you miss this appointment, we'll have to get a court order, and that will take much longer." "I'll be there," Marcus said. "I promise." "Good," Barbara said. "After the test, we'll discuss the child support arrangement. My office is in Sandy Springs. Can you come by at 2 o'clock this afternoon?" Marcus thought about his work schedule. He had 3 showings scheduled for today, but this was more important. Yes, I'll be there. I'll text you the address, Barbara said. Then she hung up. Marcus got dressed quickly. He put on jeans and a sweater. He looked at himself in the mirror. He looked tired, old, like he had aged 10 years in 3 days. He drove to the DNA testing center. It was in a medical building near Lenox Mall. He parked and walked inside. The waiting room was small and cold. There were magazines on a table, but Marcus did not read them. He just sat and waited. At exactly 10 o'clock, the door opened. Keisha walked in with Mason, Miles, and Maya. The children looked around the unfamiliar place with curious eyes. When Maya saw Marcus, she waved. Hi? Marcus felt something warm in his chest. She waved at him. His daughter waved at him. Hi, Maya. Mason and Miles did not say anything. They just stared at him. A nurse called them back. She was a young woman with blonde hair pulled into a ponytail. Thompson family? They all followed her to a small room. The nurse explained the test. This is very simple. I'm going to use this swab to collect cells from the inside of your cheek. It doesn't hurt at all. Just feels like a soft toothbrush. She swabbed Marcus's cheek first. Then she did Mason. Then Miles. Then Maya. Maya giggled when the swab tickled her cheek. The nurse put each swab in a separate tube with a label. Results will take 5 business days, the nurse said. We'll email them to you and to your attorney. Thank you, Keisha said. They walked back to the waiting room. Marcus wanted to say something to his children. He wanted to ask them about school or their favorite foods or anything, but the words would not come out. Keisha saw him struggling. Say goodbye to your father, she told the children. Bye, Mason said quietly. Bye, Miles said. Maya ran over and hugged Marcus's leg. Then she ran back to her mother. They left. Marcus sat in his car in the parking lot for 10 minutes. Maya hugged him. His daughter hugged him. He did not deserve it, but she did it anyway. At 2 o'clock, Marcus drove to Barbara Chen's office in Sandy Springs. The office was on the 3rd floor of a building near the highway. Barbara was a small Asian woman with glasses and a serious face. She did not smile when Marcus walked in. Sit down, she said. Marcus sat in the chair across from her desk. Barbara opened a folder and pulled out papers. Based on your income and the number of children, Georgia law requires you to pay $2,000 per month in child support. Miss Williams found out she was pregnant in October 4 years ago. The children were born in July 4 years ago. They are now 4 years old. You owe back support for 48 months. Marcus's stomach dropped. 48 months? Yes, Barbara said. She did not look sympathetic. However, Miss Williams is being generous. She's only asking for back support starting from the children's birth. That's 32 months. $800 per month for 32 months equals $25,600. Marcus did a quick calculation in his head. His savings account had $32,000. This would take almost everything. She's also being generous by not asking for medical expenses, childcare costs, or legal fees, Barbara continued. She could ask for all of that, and a judge would likely give it to her. But she's not. She just wants the basic child support. Okay, Marcus said quietly. You can pay the back support in one payment or in installments over 6 months. Your choice. Marcus thought about this. If he paid it all at once, he would have almost nothing left. But if he dragged it out over 6 months, he would be in debt to Keisha for half a year. I'll pay it all at once. Barbara raised her eyebrows. That's $25,600. I understand, Marcus said. Fine. I'll send you the payment information. You have 2 weeks to make the payment. After that, the monthly support of $2,000 begins on the 1st of next month. Marcus signed the papers Barbara put in front of him. His hand shook a little as he wrote his name. When he left the office, he sat in his car again. $25,600. His BMW payment was $600 a month. His rent was $2,000 a month. His other bills added up to another $1,000. With the new child support payment, he would barely have anything left over. He would have to make changes. Big changes. On Tuesday, Marcus had his first therapy appointment. He found a therapist named Dr. Patricia Reed. Her office was in a house that had been converted into a business space. It was painted light blue with white trim. There were plants in the front yard. The waiting room had soft couches and quiet music playing. Marcus sat and waited. His leg bounced up and down nervously. A door opened. A black woman in her 50s walked out. She wore glasses and a purple dress. Her hair was natural and cut short. "Marcus Thompson?" Marcus stood up. "Yes, ma'am. I'm Dr. Reed. Come on back." Her office was small but comfortable. There were bookshelves full of books about psychology and therapy. There was a desk in the corner, but Dr. Reed did not sit behind it. She sat in a chair across from Marcus. "So," Dr. Reed said, "tell me why you're here." Marcus had prepared an answer. "I need help dealing with some issues. I made some bad choices, and I want to do better." "Doctor." Reed looked at him over her glasses. "That's what you prepared to say. Now tell me the truth." Marcus was quiet. "Let me help you," Dr. Reed said. "You're here because someone told you to come. Someone gave you an ultimatum. Am I right?" "Yes," Marcus admitted. "Good," Dr. Reed said. "Honesty is the first step. Now, tell me what happened." Marcus took a deep breath. Then he told her everything. He told her about divorcing Keisha, about lying to everyone, about Jennifer, about Thanksgiving dinner, about the 3 children he never knew he had. All of it. Dr. Reed listened without interrupting. When Marcus finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You're telling me what happened, but you're not telling me why it happened. Why did you lie, Marcus?" "I don't know," Marcus said. "Yes, you do," Dr. Reed said. "Think about it. When you told people Keisha couldn't have children, what did they do?" Marcus thought back. "They felt sorry for me. And? They said they understood why I left. So the lie made you look like what?" "Like the victim," Marcus said slowly. "Like I didn't do anything wrong." "Exactly," Dr. Reed said. "You lied because you didn't want to take responsibility for your choices. You wanted to be the good guy. You wanted people to feel sorry for you instead of judging you." Marcus felt like she had just read his mind. "Yes, that's your core issue," Dr. Reed said. "You care more about what people think than about what's actually true. You care more about your image than about your integrity." "How do I fix that?" Marcus asked. "That's what we're going to work on," Dr. Reed said. "But I'll tell you right now, it's going to be hard. Because you're going to have to do something terrifying." "What?" "You're going to have to tell the truth, even when it makes you look bad." Marcus felt sick. He knew what that meant. The phone calls. He had to call everyone and admit he lied. On Thursday afternoon, Marcus sat at his kitchen table. His father, William, sat across from him. On the table was a list of names. 23 names. 23 people Marcus had lied to about Keisha. "Start with Kevin," William said. "Your best friend." Marcus picked up his phone. His hands were shaking. He found Kevin's number and pressed call. Kevin answered on the 3rd ring. "Marcus? Man, I thought you weren't going to call me again after last time." Marcus had forgotten. Kevin already knew. He was at Thanksgiving dinner. No, wait, that was not right. Marcus had called Kevin last week and told him the truth. Kevin had hung up on him. "Kevin, I need to talk to you again." "I don't have anything to say to you," Kevin said. "Please, just let me say this. I lied to you. About Keisha, about everything. She wasn't the reason we couldn't have kids. I was just selfish. I left her for another woman, and I didn't want to admit it. So I blamed her. I made her look like she had a problem. And I'm sorry." Kevin was silent for a long time. "Yeah, I know. I already heard about Thanksgiving. Everyone heard. I'm calling everyone I lied to," Marcus said, "to tell them the truth." "Little late for that, don't you think?" Kevin said. His voice was cold. "Yes," Marcus admitted, "but I'm doing it anyway." "Good for you," Kevin said. "But that doesn't fix what you did. You lied to everyone. You destroyed that woman's reputation. And for what? So you could feel better about yourself?" "Yes," Marcus said quietly. "I don't want to be your friend anymore, Marcus. I don't trust people who lie like that." Kevin hung up. Marcus put the phone down. He felt like he had been punched in the stomach. "Next one," William said. Marcus made 22 more calls that week. Some calls were worse than others. Marcus's cousin Eric cursed at him for 5 straight minutes before hanging up. His co-worker Daniel said, "Man, that's really low. I don't know what to say to you." Daniel stayed on the phone, though. He did not hang up like Kevin did. Marcus called his friend from college, Jamal. Jamal listened to everything. Then he said, "Bro, you need to make this right. Those kids didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask for a father who ran away. You need to step up now." "I'm trying," Marcus said. "Don't try," Jamal said. "Do it. There's a difference." By Friday, Marcus had called everyone on the list. Some people forgave him. Most did not. Some people said they needed time to think about it. 3 people told him to never contact them again. William sat with him for every single call. When Marcus wanted to give up after the 10th call, William said, "Keep going. This is what accountability looks like. It's not comfortable, it's not easy, but it's necessary." On Friday afternoon, Marcus received an email. The subject line said, "DNA test results." His hands shook as he opened it. He already knew what it would say. Everyone knew, but seeing it in writing was different. The email had an attachment. Marcus downloaded it and read, "Alleged father, Marcus Thompson. Child 1, Mason Thompson. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. Child 2, Miles Thompson. Probability of paternity, 99.9% child. 3, Maya Thompson. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. There it was, official proof. He was their father. Marcus forwarded the email to Barbara Chen. Within an hour, she called him. "I received the results. Miss Williams would like you to come to her home tomorrow. She wants to discuss the visitation schedule in person. Can you be there at 11 o'clock in the morning?" "Yes," Marcus said. "What's the address?" Barbara gave him the address. It was in Sandy Springs, just like Keisha had said. After Barbara hung up, Marcus typed the address into his phone. He looked at it on the map. The house was in a nice neighborhood. Good schools, safe streets, everything he should have provided. Saturday morning, Marcus woke up early. He could not sleep. He was going to see Keisha's house, the house she bought without him, the house where his children lived. He got dressed carefully. He wore nice jeans and a button-down shirt. He wanted to look like he was trying, like he cared. The drive to Sandy Springs took 25 minutes. Marcus followed his GPS through neighborhoods that got nicer and nicer. Bigger houses, newer cars, better lawns. Then his GPS said, "You have arrived at your destination." Marcus sat in his car and stared. The house was beautiful. 2 stories, red brick, white columns on the front porch, a 3-car garage, a fountain in the circular driveway, toys in the front yard, a swing set, a slide, 3 bicycles. This was Keisha's house. She owned this. Marcus's apartment suddenly felt small and sad in his mind. He paid $2,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. Keisha owned this house. She probably paid cash for it. He got out of his car and walked to the front door. Before he could knock, the door opened. Maya stood there. She was wearing a pink dress, and her hair was in two puffs on the side of her head. "Mommy, it's the man from Thanksgiving!" Maya yelled over her shoulder. Marcus heard footsteps. Keisha appeared at the door. She wore jeans and a simple white t-shirt. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail. She looked beautiful without even trying. "Do you have the results?" Keisha asked. Marcus pulled out his phone. He showed her the email with the DNA results. Keisha read it carefully. She nodded. "Okay, come in." Marcus stepped inside. The house was even more beautiful on the inside. There was a big living room with comfortable couches, a huge TV on the wall, pictures of the triplets everywhere, baby pictures, birthday pictures, school pictures, 4 years of memories that Marcus was not part of. The kitchen was huge, marble counters, stainless steel appliances, an island in the middle with bar stools. Everything was clean and organized. Mason and Miles were in the living room playing with the blocks. They were building something tall. When they saw Marcus, Mason waved. "Hi." Miles did not say anything. He just went back to playing with his blocks. Keisha walked to the kitchen and sat at the island. She pointed to a bar stool. "Sit." Marcus sat down. He felt nervous, like he was being called to the principal's office. "I want to go over the visitation schedule," Keisha said. She pulled out a piece of paper. "You can see the children every other Saturday, from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The visits will be at your mother's house." "Why my mother's house?" Marcus asked. "Because I don't trust you yet," Keisha said simply. "Your mother will supervise. If you're consistent for 3 months, we can talk about you taking them to your apartment." Marcus nodded. "Okay." "First visit is next Saturday," Keisha said. "If you're late, the visit is canceled. If you cancel for any reason except a medical emergency, we skip your next visit too. Do you understand?" "Yes," Marcus said. Keisha looked at him carefully. "I need you to understand something, Marcus. These children are happy. They have a good life. They don't need you to mess that up. If you're going to be in their lives, you need to be all in, not halfway, not when it's convenient. All in." "I understand," Marcus said. "I also need to tell you something," Keisha said. She folded her hands on the counter. "I'm seeing someone. His name is Trevor. He's a good man. He treats me well, and he's good to my children." Marcus felt like someone had punched him in the chest. He knew he had no right to be jealous. He left her. He lied about her. He tried to humiliate her. But hearing that she was with someone else still hurt. "Okay," Marcus said. His voice came out quieter than he meant it to. "Are you really okay with that?" Keisha asked. "Or are you just saying that?" Marcus thought about this. Dr. Reed told him to tell the truth even when it was hard. "Both, I guess. I'm glad you're happy. You deserve to be happy. But I also feel sad because I realize what I gave up." Keisha's face softened a little. "You can't go backward, Marcus. You can only go forward. Be the father they need now. That's all you can do." "I will," Marcus said. Maya ran into the kitchen. She climbed onto the bar stool next to Marcus. "Are you staying for lunch?" "No, baby," Keisha said gently. "He's just visiting today." Maya looked disappointed. "Oh, okay." Marcus looked at his daughter. She wanted him to stay. She barely knew him, but she wanted him around. "Maybe another time," he said to Maya. "If your mom says it's okay." Maya smiled. "Okay." Keisha stood up. "I'll walk you out." Marcus followed her to the front door. Before he left, he turned around and looked at the house one more time. The big TV, the comfortable furniture, the pictures on the walls, the kitchen where Keisha probably made dinner every night. This was the home he could have had, the family he could have had. "This is a beautiful house," Marcus said. "Thank you," Keisha said. "I worked very hard for it." "I can tell," Marcus said. "You did an amazing job, with the house, with the business, with the kids. You did it all." Keisha did not smile, but her eyes were less hard. "I did what I had to do." Marcus walked to his car. As he drove away, he looked in the rearview mirror. Keisha stood on the porch, watching him leave. Maya was next to her, waving. Marcus waved back, even though he knew they could not see him anymore. That night, Marcus could not sleep. He kept thinking about the house, about Maya asking if he would stay for lunch, about Trevor. Some man he had never met was in his children's lives. Some man was probably there right now, eating dinner with them, watching TV with them, being the father Marcus should have been. But Marcus knew this was his own fault. He created this situation, and now he had to live with it. On Tuesday, Marcus had his second therapy session with Dr. Reed. He told her about seeing Keisha's house, about meeting the children again, about Trevor. "How did it make you feel?" Dr. Reed asked. "Like I'm too late," Marcus said. "Like I already missed everything that mattered." "You did miss a lot," Dr. Reed said. She did not try to make him feel better. She just told him the truth. "You missed their first 4 years. You can't get that back, but you have a choice about what happens next. You can spend your time being sad about what you lost, or you can spend your time building what you can have." "What can I have?" Marcus asked. "A relationship with your children," Dr. Reed said. "It won't be the relationship you would have had if you were there from the beginning, but it can still be real. It can still matter." "What if they never forgive me?" Marcus asked. "They're 4 years old," Dr. Reed said. "They don't even know they need to forgive you yet. You're worried about the wrong thing. You should be worried about showing up, about being consistent, about proving that you're not going to disappear again." Marcus thought about this. "How do I prove that?" "One Saturday at a time," Dr. Reed said. The next Saturday arrived, Marcus's first official visit with his children. He set 3 alarms to make sure he woke up on time. He got to his parents' house at 9:45, 15 minutes early. Dorothy opened the door before he could knock. "Come in, baby. I'm so nervous. I cleaned the whole house. I made cookies. I bought new toys. Do you think they'll like it here?" "Mom, calm down," Marcus said. "They're going to love it here." William was in the living room setting up a card table with coloring books and crayons. "What time are they coming?" 10 o'clock, Marcus said. At exactly 10 o'clock, Keisha's car pulled up. It was not the Rolls Royce this time. It was a regular black SUV. Keisha got out and opened the back door. Mason, Miles, and Maya climbed out. Dorothy rushed to the door. "Hello, babies. Come in, come in." The children walked in slowly. They remembered this house from Thanksgiving, but that day was chaos. Today was different. Today was just them. "Hi, Grandma," Maya said quietly. Dorothy's eyes filled with tears. "You called me Grandma." "Mommy said we should call you that," Maya said. "Is that okay?" "It's perfect," Dorothy said. She knelt down and hugged Maya. Then she hugged Mason and Miles. Keisha stood in the doorway. "I'll be back at 4 o'clock. If there are any problems, call me immediately." "There won't be any problems," Dorothy said. Keisha looked at Marcus. "Remember the rules." "I remember," Marcus said. Keisha left. Marcus watched her car drive away. Then he turned around. 3 children were standing in his parents' living room. His children. And for the next 6 hours, he had a chance to be their father. Mason looked up at him. "What are we going to do?" Marcus had no idea. He had never spent time with children before, but he said, Whatever you want to do." Miles ran to the backyard. "Can we go outside?" "Sure," Marcus said. For the first time in his life, Marcus Thompson played with his children. The backyard had a swing set that William built when Marcus and his siblings were kids. It was old, but still strong. Miles ran straight to it. "Push me!" Marcus walked over to the swing. Miles climbed on. Marcus stood behind him and pushed gently. The swing moved forward and back. "Higher!" Miles shouted. Marcus pushed harder. Miles went higher. He laughed. It was a pure, happy sound. Marcus had never heard his son laugh before. Not like this. Mason found a basketball in the garage. It was flat and old. "Can we play basketball?" William came outside. "Let me get the pump. We'll fill that ball up." Maya sat on the back steps with Dorothy. They were having a tea party with plastic cups. Dorothy pretended to drink tea and made exaggerated sipping sounds. Maya giggled. Marcus pushed Miles on the swing for 20 minutes. His arms got tired, but he did not stop. When Miles finally wanted to get off, Marcus's shirt was soaked with sweat. William had filled up the basketball. He showed Mason how to dribble. Marcus walked over. "Can I try?" Mason passed him the ball. Marcus dribbled a few times. Then he shot toward the hoop. The ball bounced off the rim. Mason ran and got it. He tried to shoot. The ball did not even reach the hoop, but William clapped anyway. "Good try, buddy. You'll get stronger." They played for an hour. Marcus taught Mason and Miles how to pass the ball back and forth, how to aim at the hoop, how to dribble without looking down. Dorothy called from the porch. "Lunch is ready." They went inside. Dorothy had made chicken nuggets, French fries, and apple slices. The children sat at the kitchen table. Marcus sat with them. Dorothy put plates in front of everyone. "This looks good, Grandma," Mason said. "Thank you, baby," Dorothy said. She looked at Marcus and mouthed the words, "He called me Grandma again." After lunch, the children were tired. Dorothy suggested they watch a movie. She put on a cartoon about talking animals. The children sat on the couch. Maya sat between Mason and Miles. Marcus sat in the chair next to the couch. Halfway through the movie, Maya got up. She walked over to Marcus. Without saying anything, she climbed into his lap. She rested her head against his chest. Within 5 minutes, she was asleep. Marcus looked down at his daughter sleeping in his arms. She trusted him enough to fall asleep on him. He had not earned this trust, but she gave it to him anyway. When 4 o'clock came, Keisha's car pulled up. Dorothy gently woke Maya. "Your mommy is here, baby." Maya's eyes opened slowly. She looked up at Marcus. "Do we have to go?" "Yes," Marcus said softly, "but I'll see you again soon. I promise." The children got their shoes and walked to the front door. Keisha came inside to get them. She looked at Marcus. "How did it go?" "It was good," Dorothy said before Marcus could answer. "They were wonderful. Absolute angels." Keisha helped Maya put on her jacket. "Did you have fun?" Maya nodded. "Grandma made tea, and Daddy Marcus pushed me on the swing." Keisha paused. She looked at Marcus. "Daddy Marcus?" Miles corrected his sister. "Just Marcus, Maya, not Daddy Marcus." "But he's our daddy," Maya said, confused. Keisha did not say anything. She just took the children's hands and walked them to the car. Marcus watched from the porch. He heard Maya still talking as they got in the car. "But Mommy, you said he's our daddy, so why can't I call him Daddy Marcus?" Keisha's answer was too quiet for Marcus to hear. 2 weeks later, Marcus had his 4th visit with the children. This time, they were more comfortable. They did not stand close to Dorothy. They ran straight to the backyard. Marcus played basketball with Mason. He pushed Maya on the swing. He helped Miles build a fort with blankets and chairs. The hours went by fast. When Keisha came to pick them up, Miles ran to Marcus and hugged his leg. "Bye, Daddy Marcus." Marcus froze. He looked at Keisha. She raised her eyebrows, but did not say anything. After that day, Miles always called him Daddy Marcus. Mason still called him just Marcus. Maya sometimes called him Daddy Marcus and sometimes just Marcus. She could not decide. Marcus continued going to therapy every Tuesday. Dr. Reed asked him about the visits. "How does it feel when they call you Daddy Marcus?" "Like I don't deserve it," Marcus said, "but also like maybe I'm doing something right." "You are doing something right," Dr. Reed said. "You're showing up. That's the most important thing." "But I missed so much," Marcus said. 4 years. I can't get that back." "No, you can't," Dr. Reed agreed. "But you can be present for the years ahead. That has value too." Marcus paid the $25,600 in back child support. He transferred the money from his savings account to Keisha's account. His balance went from $32,000 to $6,400. He had been saving for years. Now it was almost gone, but he knew it was the right thing to do. He also started paying the $2,000 per month. Between the child support, his rent, his car payment, and his other bills, Marcus had almost nothing left over. He could not go out to expensive dinners anymore. He could not buy new clothes. He had to budget carefully. But he did not complain. This was the consequence of his choices. 3 months passed. Marcus showed up for every visit. He was never late. Not even once. He set multiple alarms. He left his apartment an hour early just to be sure. The children started to warm up to him more. By the 8th visit, all 3 of them called him Daddy. Not Daddy Marcus, just Daddy. It happened during a game of tag in the backyard. Marcus was chasing Miles. Miles ran toward Dorothy yelling, "Save me, Grandma! Daddy's gonna get me!" Everyone stopped. Miles did not even realize what he said. But Marcus realized. So did Dorothy. Her eyes filled with tears. After that, Mason and Maya started calling him Daddy too, like it was the most natural thing in the world. One Tuesday, Keisha called Marcus. "You've been consistent for 3 months. The children ask about you between visits. I think it's time for you to take them to your apartment." Marcus felt panic. His apartment was not ready. He had a leather couch and a big TV and nothing else. No toys, no books, no color. "This Saturday," Keisha said, "pick them up at my house at 10. Bring them back at 4. Same rules apply. If you're late, if you cancel, you're done." Marcus spent the next 3 days preparing. He went to Target and bought toys. Action figures for the boys, dolls for Maya, books, coloring books, crayons. He bought a small table with 3 chairs. He cleared out a corner of his living room and set everything up. Saturday morning, Marcus drove to Keisha's house in Sandy Springs. The children ran out when they saw his car. This time they were excited. They knew him now. They trusted him. "Bye, Mommy," Maya yelled as she climbed into the back seat. Keisha came to the car window. "Remember, 4 o'clock. "I'll have them back on time," Marcus promised. The drive to Marcus's apartment took 20 minutes. The children looked out the windows as they drove through Buckhead. When they pulled into the parking lot of Marcus's building, Miles said, "You live here?" "Yes," Marcus said. "Come on, I'll show you." They took the elevator to the 8th floor. Marcus unlocked his apartment door and let the children in. They stood in the doorway looking around. The apartment was nice, clean, modern furniture, but it felt cold, empty. "This is where you live?" Maya asked. She sounded disappointed. "Yes," Marcus said. "What's wrong?" Maya looked around. "It's lonely." Marcus felt those words hit him hard. She was right. The apartment was lonely. He lived here by himself. No pictures on the walls, No personality, just expensive furniture and empty space. "Come here," Marcus said. "I made a space for you guys." He showed them the corner with the small table and chairs, the toys, the books. Maya's eyes lit up when she saw the dolls. Miles grabbed the action figures. Mason picked up a book about dinosaurs. They spent the afternoon coloring and playing. Marcus ordered pizza for lunch. They sat at his dining table eating and talking. Miles told Marcus about school. Maya told him about her dance class. Mason told him about soccer practice. "I have a game next Saturday," Mason said, "at Piedmont Park. Are you going to come?" Marcus hesitated. "I don't know if your mom wants me at your games." "Ask her," Mason said. "I want you to come." That evening, Marcus brought the children back to Keisha's house at exactly 4 o'clock. Keisha met them at the door. A man stood behind her. He was tall with dark skin and kind eyes. He wore jeans and a t-shirt. "Kids, go inside and wash your hands," Keisha said. The children ran past her into the house. Marcus and Keisha stood on the porch. The man stayed in the doorway. Marcus knew without being told that this was Trevor. "How was it?" Keisha asked. "Good," Marcus said. "They seem to have fun." "Maya said your apartment is lonely," Keisha said. Marcus looked down. "Yeah, she's not wrong." "You need to make it feel like home," Keisha said. "Put up pictures, add color. They need to feel comfortable there." "I will," Marcus said. Mason ran back to the door. "Mom, I told Daddy about my soccer game next Saturday. Can he come?" Keisha looked at Marcus. Then she looked at Mason. "We'll see." But on Thursday, Keisha texted Marcus. "Mason's soccer game is at Piedmont Park on Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. Field 3. You can come if you want." Marcus texted back immediately, "I'll be there." Saturday morning. Marcus arrived at Piedmont Park at 8:45. He found Field 3. There were already parents sitting in folding chairs on the sideline. Marcus did not have a chair. He stood by himself near the end of the field. At 9 o'clock, the teams came out. Mason wore a blue jersey with the number 7. When he saw Marcus, his face lit up. He waved. Marcus waved back. The game started. Marcus watched his son run up and down the field. Mason was not the best player, but he tried hard. He ran fast. He listened to his coach. Halfway through the game, Marcus noticed someone standing next to him. It was Trevor. He had a folding chair. He sat down and watched the game. "You must be Marcus," Trevor said without looking at him. "Yeah," Marcus said. "You're Trevor." "That's right." They stood in silence for a moment, both watching Mason play. "He's a good kid," Trevor said. "All three of them are. Keisha did an amazing job." "I know," Marcus said. "Don't mess this up," Trevor said. His voice was not threatening, just honest. "They're starting to love you. If you disappear now, it will break their hearts." "I'm not going to disappear," Marcus said. Trevor finally looked at him. "Good." Mason scored a goal. Both Marcus and Trevor cheered. Mason turned and smiled at both of them. After the game, Keisha stood nearby talking with Trevor about plans for later that evening. Marcus watched Keisha laugh at something Trevor said. They looked comfortable together, natural, like they belonged together. 6 months ago, that would have destroyed Marcus. Now he just felt grateful that someone was treating Keisha the way she deserved to be treated. The weeks continued. Marcus went to therapy every Tuesday. He saw his children every Saturday. He went to Mason's soccer games. He went to Maya's dance recitals at a studio in Midtown. He went to Miles's school performance, where Miles played a tree in a play about seasons. Sometimes Trevor was there, sometimes Keisha's mother was there. Sometimes Keisha's sister Angela was there. Marcus was just one person in a crowd of people who loved his children, and that was okay. Dorothy started babysitting every Thursday afternoon. Keisha would drop the children off at the house in Decatur after school. Dorothy would feed them snacks. William would help them with their homework. They would play in the backyard until Keisha picked them up at 7 o'clock. One Thursday, Maya brought a picture she drew at school. It was a family picture. She drew herself, Mason, and Miles in the middle. On one side, she drew Keisha and Trevor. On the other side, she drew Marcus. Behind everyone, she drew Dorothy and William. "This is my family," Maya told Dorothy proudly. Dorothy hung the picture on her refrigerator. When Marcus came by that evening to drop off some papers for his father, he saw it. He stared at that drawing for a long time. He was in the picture. His daughter included him in her family. Marcus continued making changes in his life. He sold his BMW. The monthly payment was too high and he needed to save the money. He bought a used Honda Accord instead. It was 7 years old, but it ran well. Some of his co-workers made comments about the downgrade. Marcus did not care anymore what they thought. He moved out of his expensive apartment in Buckhead. He found a 2-bedroom apartment in Decatur, closer to his parents. The rent was $800 cheaper per month. The second bedroom became a room for his children. He bought 3 small beds. He painted the walls light blue. He put up posters of superheroes and princesses. He filled the room with toys and books. When the children came over for the first time and saw their room, Miles ran around touching everything. "This is ours? Really ours?" "Really yours," Marcus said. Maya climbed on one of the beds and bounced. "Can we sleep here?" Marcus looked at Keisha. She had come inside to see the apartment. She looked around at the children's room, at the care Marcus had put into it. "We'll see," she said, but her voice was softer than before. Dr. Reed continued to work with Marcus on his issues. "You're doing better," she said during one session. "You're showing up consistently. You're making sacrifices. You're putting your children first. That's growth." "I still feel like I'm so far behind," Marcus said. "Like I'll never make up for the 4 years I missed." "You won't make up for them," Dr. Reed said. "That's not how this works. You can't erase the past, but you can build a different future. You're doing that." 6 months after Thanksgiving, Dorothy called Marcus at work. Her voice was panicked. "Marcus, you need to get to Piedmont Hospital right now. It's Keisha." Marcus's heart stopped. "What happened? Are the kids okay?" "The kids are fine. They're here with me," Dorothy said. "It's Keisha. She collapsed at one of her stores. They brought her in an ambulance." Marcus left work immediately. He drove to the hospital faster than he should have. He found Dorothy, William, DeAndre, and Tamara in the waiting room. Trevor was there too. His face looked worried and tired. "What happened?" Marcus asked. "She's been working too much," Trevor said. 70, 80 hours a week, not sleeping enough, not eating right. Her body just gave out. "Where are the kids?" Marcus asked. "In the cafeteria with Keisha's mother," Dorothy said. "They're scared. They don't understand what's happening." A doctor came out. "Family of Keisha Williams?" Everyone stood up. The doctor looked at all of them, not sure who to talk to. Trevor stepped forward. "I'm her boyfriend. This is her ex-husband. And this is her ex-husband's family." The doctor nodded. "Miss Williams is stable. She's severely dehydrated and exhausted. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. We're keeping her overnight for observation. She needs to rest for at least a week. No work. No stress." "Can we see her?" Trevor asked. "One person at a time," the doctor said. "She's very tired." Trevor went in first. He stayed for 15 minutes. When he came out, he looked at Marcus. "She wants to see you." Marcus walked into the hospital room. Keisha lay in the bed. She looked small, tired. There was an IV in her arm. She turned her head when Marcus walked in. "Hey," Marcus said softly. "Hey," Keisha said. Her voice was weak. Marcus sat in the chair next to the bed. You scared everyone. I know. I'm sorry. Keisha closed her eyes. There's so much to do. The stores, the online orders, the kids, everything. You're doing too much, Marcus said. You've been doing too much for too long. I had to, Keisha said. I had to build the business. I had to provide for my kids. I couldn't let them down. You're not letting them down, Marcus said, but you're letting yourself down. You need help. Keisha opened her eyes and looked at him. I'm not good at asking for help. I know, Marcus said, but you need to learn. What do you need? How can I help? Keisha was quiet for a moment. Then she said something Marcus never expected to hear. I need you to take the kids for a few days. My mom has to work. Trevor has to work. Your mom can't take them all day every day. Can you take them? Marcus did not hesitate. Yes, of course. How long? A week, Keisha said. The doctor said I need to rest for a week. No stress. That means no kids climbing on me asking for snacks every 5 minutes. She smiled a little when she said it. Marcus smiled too. I'll take the whole week off work. They can stay at my apartment. I have the room for them now. Okay, Keisha said. She looked relieved. Thank you. That night, Marcus brought Mason, Miles, and Maya to his apartment. They each had a small suitcase with clothes. They looked scared and confused. Is Mommy going to be okay? Maya asked. Her voice was small. Yes, baby, Marcus said. He knelt down so he was at her level. Mommy is going to be fine. She just needs to rest. So you're going to stay with me for a few days. Is that okay? Maya nodded, but her eyes filled with tears. I want to see Mommy. We'll visit her tomorrow, Marcus promised. I promise. That night was hard. Marcus had never been alone with his children overnight before. He made them dinner, chicken nuggets and French fries. He helped them take baths. He helped them brush their teeth. He read them bedtime stories. Maya cried at bedtime. She wanted Keisha. Miles tried to be brave, but Marcus could see he was scared too. Only Mason seemed okay. Marcus sat on the edge of Maya's bed. I know this is scary. I know you miss your mommy, but I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere, okay? Promise? Maya asked. Promise, Marcus said. He stayed in their room until all three of them fell asleep. Then he went to his room and collapsed on his bed. Being a parent was exhausting, and he was only doing it for a few days. Keisha had been doing it alone for 4 years. The next morning, Marcus woke up at 6:30. The children were already awake. They were in the living room watching cartoons. Marcus made them breakfast, cereal and toast. He helped them get dressed. He packed their lunches. He drove them to school. Drop-off was chaos. He had to take all 3 of them to different classrooms. Maya's preschool room was in one building. Mason and Miles's kindergarten room was in another building. By the time Marcus got everyone to the right place, he was sweating. He picked them up at 3 o'clock. He took them to visit Keisha in the hospital. She looked better, less pale, more rested. The children climbed on her bed carefully. She hugged them and kissed them. Are you being good for your daddy? Keisha asked. All 3 children nodded. Yes, Mommy, Maya said. Daddy made us breakfast. Keisha looked at Marcus. Thank you. This continued for a week. Marcus took the children to school every morning. He picked them up every afternoon. He made them dinner. He helped with homework. He gave them baths. He read bedtime stories. It was the hardest week of his life. It was also the best week of his life. He finally understood what it meant to be a parent. It was not about the fun moments at the park or the games. It was about showing up every single day, even when you were tired, even when you did not know what you were doing, even when it was hard. On Friday, Keisha came home from the hospital. Marcus brought the children back to her house in Sandy Springs. They ran inside yelling, "Mommy! Mommy!" Keisha hugged them. Trevor was there too. He had taken off work to help Keisha settle back in. Marcus stood by the door with the children's suitcases. Keisha walked over to him. "Thank you, really, thank you." "You don't have to thank me," Marcus said. "They're my kids too." "I know," Keisha said, "but still, thank you." 1 year after that Thanksgiving dinner, life looked different. Marcus lived in his 2-bedroom apartment in Decatur. He drove his used Honda. He paid his child support on time every month. He saw his children every week, sometimes more than once a week. He was not rich anymore. He was not flashy. He did not have the newest phone or the nicest car. But he had something more important. He had a relationship with his children. Dorothy and William babysat every Thursday. They took the children to church every other Sunday. Dorothy made them cookies. William taught the boys how to fish at Lake Lanier. The Thompson family had fully embraced Mason, Miles, and Maya. Keisha's business continued to grow. She opened 2 more stores, one in Savannah, one in Macon. Essence magazine did another article about her success. She hired a manager to run the day-to-day operations so she could work less and spend more time with her children. She and Trevor were still together. It was serious. The children liked him. He was kind to them. He did not try to replace Marcus. He just treated them with respect and love. Marcus had accepted that Keisha would never take him back. That door was closed forever. He had destroyed what they had, but he was learning to be okay with that. He was learning that being a father was not about what he wanted. It was about what his children needed. One Saturday afternoon, Marcus was at his parents' house. The children were playing in the backyard. Mason and Miles were climbing the oak tree. Maya was on the swing. Marcus sat on the back steps, watching them. Dorothy came outside and sat next to him. "You're doing good, baby. Really good." "I'm trying," Marcus said. "No," Dorothy said. She sounded like William. "You're not trying. You're doing it. There's a difference." Maya jumped off the swing and ran over to Marcus. Her face was happy and sweaty. She grabbed his hand. "Daddy, come push me on the swing." Marcus let his daughter pull him across the yard. She climbed on the swing. He stood behind her and pushed. She went higher and higher. Her laughter filled the backyard. For the first time in years, Marcus felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Not because everything worked out the way he wanted, but because he finally learned that life was not about getting what you wanted. It was about taking responsibility for what you had done and doing better. Keisha had taught him that. His children had taught him that. And now, finally, Marcus was learning to be the man he should have been all along. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Don't waste time. Just click on the screen